All right, well, let's sort this out. JJ Moser, he's got to go. We have one trade offer. It's from Tampa for Jake Gensel and a third. The only way we can afford Gensel is if we drop this down to 5,925, which is 6% of the cap currently. That is the most an individual can be paid. To Knucklehead's point in chat, Brandon Hagel is also there and is also very upset about his current circumstances. Jake McCabe is the same way. Granted, I don't really need Jake McCabe. Our top four defense is already pretty good. Tough to tell just how good Brandon Hagel is. He is pretty good. He's pretty good. I mean, both would be left wings on the team. Who do we already have? We already have some good left wings, though, too, don't we? Yeah, Luostarinen, Rasmussen, Turcotte, Olesen. Of course, we drafted Orpik, but we're not going to sign him. So Hagel might be unnecessary, but Gensel would be good. Because we could play Luostarinen and Rasmussen both on the second line together. Because, I mean, I'd be fine with getting rid of Shane Pinto at this point. Misa, we're going to send back to junior. So it could actually be Ratu, Rasmussen, Stranges if we deal Pinto. Again, Pinto's not terrible, but he's listed as a sniper, and he's just not. So can we make room for Jake Gensel? Yes. Is it the smartest move? I think that's debatable. But if they are willing to retain on Jake Gensel, even at 31 years old, I think we have to go for it. I mean, I'm not here for this team to be terrible year after year. If we can win a cup this season, let's win the damn thing. So let's see. If we were to retain on 50%. Okay, so obviously that is the $4.5 million. Again, it was 5,925. So technically, we could take off and go down to roughly 3.1 to give ourselves a better chance. So let's go 3.3. Let's go 3.3. JJ Moser signing rights for Jake Gensel, who's not happy there and who they're trying to trade. Actually, you know what? We will safety net it with a third round pick. Will this go through? No. Ooh. So, value-wise, it's good, but they don't want to retain. Meaning, if we take out the third, it still doesn't go through. So we would have to add value to get this to go through. Is that worth it? Or do we just go for draft picks from Tampa? Because they don't want to retain salary, which is the problem with Hagel as well. Cancels our cap whale. I'm not going to do that. Go draft picks. Yeah, no shit. He hasn't been happy on Tampa. I can't look at like his career stats. That's really weird. Is that a new glitch I'm not aware of? He's had a bad time on Tampa, though. That's for sure. See how much value you'd need to get it done. I mean, it's going to at least be more than just Moser, which you could argue isn't worth it. We do have some draft picks, though, to potentially make something happen. We also have the medium elite goalies, who we would get in trouble for immediately flipping. But Hagel has less value, but he's also not as valuable to us as Gensel is. The better we are with less top picks that we'll eventually get rid of, in theory. That's true. That is true. If we were to use Bowie. Moser and Bowie. For Gensel, what if I safety net this? Dude, going from fucking Vasilevsky to Ravensburgen is nuts. Hopefully safety netted a little bit. 1/3. Straight up Moser and Bowie for Gensel on 50. Almost. A medium elite goalie was still not enough. That's how much they don't want to retain cap. Still thinking it's worth it over the picks. I might be wrong. We add these two medium elite goalies that aren't that good. We would have to add like Alnefelt for the year, which is fine. It is a lot to give up, but again, it would give us contract control over Gensel for a long time. Moser, Bowie, Volk for Gensel and Alnefelt. They just don't want to retain. And they don't want both goalies at once. I think it's going to have to be picks. The idea of trading for Jake Gensel's nice, but again, the AI do not like retaining salary, especially if it's over 1 year of contract term left. So, I still think it is probably more worth it than knowing that we have to let someone like Orpik sit for 3 years and then sign him, and then after those 3 years, we're done. Would it be better if Moser was signed? I don't think so, because I'm not sure how much the game would trade or would change his trade value. If we were to use Volk instead of Bowie, still not enough. I'm gonna push a little bit here. What if we use the Ranger third? Moser, Volk in a third. Still no. Two-thirds? Losing out on a good amount of value here if I keep pushing. What about the Vancouver second? At this point, I'm just feeling stubborn and want the deal to go through. Wow. That is a lot to give up. He is a hell of a player, though. He is a hell of a player, and it's the cheapest we'll ever be able to get a player like that. Cheapest. I think it is going to have to be Moser for picks. I hate to say it, but like we're talking about multiple second-round picks, if not even a first. Maybe picks and use the picks for Gensel. Nah, I mean, Moser's the best bargaining piece that we have. Like, he's worth more than any of the picks we'd even get. There is a part of me that thinks we should just push for this deal. Getting a first-line scoring winger, the caliber of Gensel. Again, his attributes are lower right now because his morale's in the fucking toilet. If we use our own second. Still no. And the two-thirds. What if we use 2 seconds and a third? We're probably talking about a first-round pick. We are probably talking about a first-round pick to get this deal done. And I'm not willing to give that up. Especially when he's supposed to be cheaper, in theory. You know? Yeah. All right. It was worth a shot. It was. But let's look at some draft picks over the next couple of years, this will probably be too much. What if we take out a third? Just the first, a second, and a third, which is what we were probably going to get for offer sheet compensation. Oh, Tampa. All of that wasted time, Tampa. I don't like you. I don't like you very much at all. Again, we could keep Moser for the year, but then that pushes Jordan Harris into a really weird spot. McCarthy and Osborne are ready to go. Moser has to go. Maybe he'll trade with another team. Yeah, I mean, if I do this, they're going to offer Gensel again. They just don't want to retain salary. If they don't retain salary on Gensel, I'm shit out of luck. I can't keep him. Like, in theory, this would be the perfect time for a 3-team trade. And again, we weren't even doing the full retention on Gensel, which is fucking crazy. Oh, shit. Hold on, give me a second here. No. We'll go like 3.2, 3.3 again. I don't want the pick. Straight up, they're not going to do it. They would, but again, it's down to retaining salary. Who the hell are your pending free agents then? You already signed Kucherov to an extension. Maybe we do have to try to take Hagel in the deal as well. Just because of the cap, if they're willing to retain it. Jake McCabe, Hagel. I mean, this just opens up more issues. I mean, Howard's deal is up, so I mean, I can understand. Howard and Geeky, their deals are both up. So I can understand some of the money. Brandon Hagel. The problem is, for Hagel, I'd still need them to retain over $500K. You know? I'd probably ask for like $750, $800. So, I mean, I could take on both of these guys technically, but they have to retain salary to make it happen. Which would be where the goaltender Volk comes in. Although I'd still have too many skaters. So we would have to give up a skater boy. We'd have to say, see you later, boy. And that could be Vasily Podkolzin. Moser, Volk, Podkolzin for Gensel and Hagel on reduced salary. And now we're not close again because obviously Hagel's value makes it way too much. If we add a second, they would take it off of value, but they won't because of the retained salary. What about an extra second? Moser, Volk, Podkolzin 2 seconds to get rid of Gensel and Hagel, who you want to get rid of. No. Because they don't want to retain. They want to have their cake and eat it too. And I'm not having it. I mean, literally, I'd have to give up my first round pick this year, which means I'd be banking on us making the playoffs. And that's tough. That's a tough sell. I'd be able to get back some thirds. Moser, Volk, Podkolzin in the first for Gensel and Hagel, both on 50%, and 2/3. I said 2/3. Now it's 2/3. 1/3. Straight up for the players? I'm just intrigued at what it's going to cost. What about the Vancouver second? A first, a second, Moser, Volk, and Podkolzin. They still won't retain salary. What about my own second, which is more valuable than Vancouver's? And the rights to my firstborn child? What if I also give you Bowie? Now you'd have too many goalies. We went over this before, I suppose. What if I take fucking Martin Jones? No. I don't think they're taking the deal either. I've tried like hell out of just almost pure intrigue at this point. It's just not going to happen. We're not giving up Orpik or Diorio in this deal. I'm not giving up Spence. Could argue Strong Jizz. The old Strong Jizz. That's right, I didn't forget. Like Schmidt? Is that enough? No. All right, Tampa, go fuck yourself. I've wasted enough time here. It's just not going to happen. I want it to happen, but it's just not going to happen. Who is a team? Imagine the money puck capabilities if we had LTIR like Vegas, right? Well, the thing is, like, we're just not going to be able to get a player the caliber of Jake Gensel from anybody else, I would imagine. Like, that's what I'm checking right now, is if there's anybody else who's having a bit of a morale crisis that's actually interested in the player. 6.5 hours later, excuse me, it was only 2. I thank you very much. And the fun thing is, I'm probably going back. Yeah, I mean, we're not getting a player like that. I mean, it's draft picks, basically. So it's either we pay the exorbitant amount, or we go for draft picks from somebody. Just because no other team, again, has a player of the caliber of Jake Gensel available. Like, Nashville had, like, Tanner Molendyke or whatever, which is fine, but... Islanders... Not getting rid of anybody crazy. I do really want Jake Gensel, but yeah, the amount you have to overpay is crazy. Absolutely crazy. Caufield was on the block in Montreal. You're not wrong. Which is hilarious. You're not wrong. That said, they don't want Moser, so we would miss out on some value, but you could argue it is for, it's worth it. Dougie Hamilton's out there. Crystal Tang, Evgeny Malkin in Pittsburgh. Looks like they're finally blowing it up. Vince Dunn, Chandler Stevenson. Not Murtaugh. Come on, Toronto. You can't trade Murtaugh. Troy Terry, Ryan Strome. I guess we'll just double check really quickly. I mean, getting Cole Caufield would be hilarious. It would also be an in-division trade. What's he making money-wise? So right now, we would also need them to retain salary if we were to try to pull this off. I'm a little bit concerned that in the sim, he's not been much of a goal scorer so far. Let's see here. So, what is the money? Minus 5.9. I think it was 5.975, basically. I need them to retain about $2 million worth of salary. Is Montreal interested in retaining some salary so that we can acquire Cole Caufield? The problem is his value is already higher than Moser's. Actually, they would take the deal if it wasn't for the retention. All right, if we go to goalies, what do you feel about Volk? Montreal would have too many goalies. So what if we take... I mean, they also want to get rid of Vitek. Moser and Volk for Caufield and Vanacek? No. Draft pick-wise, what if we give up a couple of thirds? We'll start there. What if we also give up our second? Take out a third, add another second. Shit. First rounder? Moser, a first, and Volk for Caufield and Vanacek? The amount you have to overpay to get the AI to retain if there's term left. The 2/3 isn't enough. What about the 2 seconds? A first, 2 seconds, a top 2 defenseman, and a goalie prospect who's not going to make it. They would take the trade. They would do it. We have to give up a fair amount of draft capital. We can't keep JJ Moser. But it would get us 5 seasons of Cole Caufield. And it would get us Vitek Vanacek as a backup this year. He's also a first liner like Gensel was. Just to twist the knife on Habs fans. Let me make sure. Yeah, my math is right because it was 5,925. So money-wise, oh shit, we do need to retain more. Oh fuck, it might not go through. Oh man. That'd be embarrassing if I made the mathematical. Actually, no, this is fine. Yeah, because it's 5.85. Sorry, I'm just second guessing. The idea is instead of drafting a first rounder, we can't keep after 3 seasons. We get Caufield for 5. So 2 extra seasons for 2 seconds. Cole Caufield. Welcome to Peg City. I thought it would be Jake Gensel, but the Lightning weren't willing to play ball. Instead, it's Cole Caufield. I never would have thought we'd have Cole Caufield on this team 3 seasons in. But he is cap compliant for the maximum amount that we are allowed right now. Cole Caufield is here on a cap compliant deal. That certainly changes the look of the team. That definitely changes the look of the team. Now we still have to worry about putting all these pieces together. Meg, it was a good site, yeah. I'll give you credit. So again, draft pick-wise, but we might be trading some people in the aftermath of acquiring Cole Caufield. So our goalies this year, Blomqvist, Vanacek, that's not amazing, but it'll do. Korhonen, Kazayev, and then Bowie in the AHL. So honestly, it's not bad. I am going to have to sign a goalie for cap whale purposes. That's not too bad. Defensively, it is now Drysdale, Haig, Sandin, and Harris, McCarthy, and Osborne. Nobody else to worry about. We do have some defense, some depth defensemen, but most of them are in the juniors. So send Thompson down. That is our defense this year, which I'm good with. How many of these guys are in junior? 3. Aitchison says he's going to be a Shark this year. Okay, so we definitely have enough defensemen. Damn. So, I mean, there is an argument about calling up someone like Aitchison that I didn't realize he'd going to be able to play. We'll double-check the defense in a minute. Right wing side, Caufield, Evangelista, Weissblatt, Wahlstrom, Dufour. There is an argument now that we no longer need Oliver Wahlstrom because in terms of a top 6 goal scorer, Cole Caufield's there, which means we could keep Ozzy Weissblatt as a third-line, PK specialist, physicality type of player. William Dufour is also a 4th liner. I really need to turn him into a grinder because you're not a power forward, buddy. You're just not. In the system, Paul Colson is also listed as a 4th liner. So, okay. Left wing side, Luotz-Storinen, Rasmussen Turcotte is now a 2nd liner. Olesen on the 3rd, Järventie on the 4th. Nobody called up, although Kevin He. We call him Kevin Him. And Gleb Trikozov are close. Centers, Misa, Pinto, Ratu, Strong Jizz. Okay. This is probably bye-bye Shane Pinto. Probably. We have to keep Misa because the game plan is to use him. Well, no, that's right. We're going to send him down, so Pinto stays. I was going to say we were going to use Misa and train him up, but we could technically get more time. So Michael Misa goes back to junior to have the ELC slide. So we got Pinto, Ratu, Strong Jizz. We need a fourth line center. But definitely Misa and junior. Left wing side. Because I don't want to play old Strong Jizz. He is a really good playmaker. He'd benefit so much from being in the top 6. But it's just not going to happen. So Misa goes down. That's fine. One of these guys is going to have to go. Okay. Well. Who the hell thought Cole Caufield would be here? So, top line center. Probably Ratu to get him to develop. Which means we'll probably have Pinto on the second. We'll see what the value is. And then old Antonio there. Fourth line center. We don't know who that's going to be yet. Left wing side. I'm gonna have to double check contracts. Can I play one of the left wings as center? Technically, yes, but then that would mean definitely trading Shane Pinto, which I don't think we have to. Although maybe we should because his player type isn't great. Because again, he's listed as a sniper, but he's just not. Like, he's a 24 goal scorer. He's fine, but he's not a sniper. Ideally for us, he'd be a two-way. And maybe that's the deciding factor. Because Caufield and Evangelista, I guess you could argue trading Evangelista. He's got 1 year left after this at $2 million, and then we don't know what he's going to sign for. Let's go double check some contracts here. See, this is where the team building elements of this challenge get very interesting, and this is what I like. This is what I like. Okay, so we have a couple of things to figure out. First and foremost, at center, everyone's signed at least through next year. However, Luotstarinen's contract is coming due at the end of this year. Turcotte is going to be an RFA. Turcotte is only asking for $3 million, which is a little bit surprising, but also means more than likely he's not going to fetch us a big-time offer sheet return, but he is not willing to play ball at all for a long-term deal. That's unfortunate. Luotstainen is already asking for too much money. And he's not an RFA. Fuck. Again, 6% of the salary cap is the most that we can offer somebody. Again, you know where that information is via the right-hand side of the screen right there. The current deal he wants is 7.7% of the cap. In terms of 6%, we know it's 5,925 currently. He does have some interest. The more term we add, the more it goes down. Even a full no movement clause doesn't help us too much. We might be losing him. Which on one hand isn't the worst thing in the world because we have done a good job of developing him into being a better player. But that could mean the left-hand side, Rasmussen, Turcotte, Olesen, Järventie. That's not terrible. That's not terrible. And Pinto, Ratu, Old Strong Jizz, Caufield, Evangelista, Weissblatt, Dufour. I think we have our answer. Unfortunately, it's that Luostarinen's going to get traded. And defensively, Jordan Harris's deal is up at the end of the year. Now could be the right time to sign him. He has no RFA time left. He's not getting such a massive offer that the offer sheet's worth it. Might be time to sign Jordan Harris. Excuse me. So yeah, I think we have our answer. In terms of what forward has to go right now, it's Luostarinen. Unfortunately. He is our most valuable asset, though, so now's a pretty good time to flip him. Like, we turned him from a solid second line guy into the most valuable asset on our team. And then Jamie Drysdale. God, do we go after Jake Gensel? Do we go after Jake Gensel and have Gensel on the top line with Cole Caufield? Do we go after Gensel? AD, thank you for the follow. Louis Arena needs to go. This has been decided. We're not going to be able to keep him beyond this year. Oh, boy. If I were to go and try to reacquire, or not reacquire, well, I guess again, attempt to again acquire Jake Gensel, where we failed last time. Left wing side. Gensel there. And then you would argue that either Rasmussen or Turcotte would also have to be traded, but Rasmussen's got 1 year left after this. Turcotte, of course, coming up on the last year of his deal. Rasmussen has also been a beast for us. Turcotte, not so bad. Didn't have that value when we first tried to train him up. Are the Lightning willing to listen this time if we give up Luostarinen? We can retain 50% on him because we're going to need a cap whale anyway. So we might as well retain what salary we can. And again, for Jake Gensel, you are talking 5925. I forget the exact number. It was about 3.1 million. Was the least amount they'd have to retain on him. Jack, we have salary limitations in this challenge. Hence why we're not allowed to acquire Gensel unless Tampa retains. This won't go through on its own. Technically it would, but they don't want to retain. How much more would we have to add? We still have a goalie in Bowie. Still no. How much more would have to go? I mean, the Rasmussen Turcotte conversation's there. For the moment, I'd rather keep Rasmussen. Turcotte as a playmaker could be pretty damn good. Rasmussen, though, developed all those abilities, 58 points. Like, he has turned into an elite. Like, he's our Mark Stone, basically. Turned into an elite two-way. If I were to go for Turcotte, Luostarinen, Turcotte, and Bowie for Jake Gensel with retention. Still no. Couple of thirds. Yeah, Tampa's just not willing to play ball here. They're really not. If we were to go after Rasmussen instead of Turcotte, I mean, Rasmussen has more value. I'm willing to retain on Rasmussen to bump up his trade value. Luostarinen and Rasmussen, you also get Bowie. Again, Luostarinen has no value to us beyond this year because he's going to be asking for too much money on his new contract. Rasmussen, you could argue, is going to do the same thing. But these two are worth a hell of a lot more than they were when we picked them up in the expansion draft. And to be able to flip them for Jake Gensel on retained salary would be huge. They're just not going to budge, are they? I'm throwing everything at the wall outside of like our best prospects, and they're just not going to budge. 2/3 isn't enough. What about our second rounder next year? Tampa, please. You fucks. This is crazy that they're not taking this. Especially for an asset that they want to get rid of. This is fucking crazy that they're not taking this deal. I get its retention for 5 years, but if you want to get rid of them that badly, then what the fuck are we doing here? Go for someone younger. Go get someone younger for Misa on a long. The problem is Misa's on a limited time with us too. That's why he's in junior right now as an 87. because we're not going to have him for more than 2 more years once he actually plays. That's the problem there. There's no way I can give up a first rounder in 2028. There's no way. I've tried. I meant trade Misa? No. Because if we hold on, he'll be able to fetch us 4 first round picks in the future. 100%. 100%. I can't believe they're not taking this deal. Especially when I'm retaining on Luotz-Storinen and Rasmussen. Granted, it's not nearly for as long. But Tampa, you're killing me here. You're killing me here. Hagel's not worth what I'm trying to trade. But Gensel is, because it would be, again, Gensel, Turcotte, Olesen, Järventie. I don't want to give up Orpik. I want this fucking player. I want this fucking player. I can't drop it to $3 million because then his contract is ineligible for us to acquire. The max deal we can have someone signed to for this season is $5,925. I'm not allowed to factor in like, oh, well, technically next year he won't be over. Paradin, it's fine. I don't expect everyone to be like, yes, this exact number, because I'm having to remind myself sometimes. Will this go through? Will this go through? Will this go through? Take the fucking trade! They did. Luotz-Storinen, Michael Rasmussen, a shit goalie, and a first-round pick next year. But we get Jake Gensel on $5.9 million for the foreseeable future. I'm a little bit worried that his overall is only an 88, but we are going to be able to play him alongside Cole Caufield. It is a massive risk, but we have Jake Gensel for 5 years. Out of nowhere, it is Gensel, Caufield, and Ratu, probably. Might even be Strong Jizz, since he's a fucking playmaker. We retained $3.1 million on our guy. Yeah, but I mean, we're never going to be able to hit the salary cap on our own. You know, the ceiling. Oh yeah, both are immediately going to the top line. Misa would be perfect. But we can't risk it this year. So the team changes again. We need a cap whale goalie in the AHL. The defense is going to be... Doesn't seem like a penny pinching move, but it is. Haig doesn't have much of a shot. I don't think Harris does either. Harris has at least a slightly better shot. So we are going to go on defense. Haig, Drysdale, Sandin and Harris, Osborne and McCarthy. Right-hand side is Caufield, Evangelista. Wahlstrom is, again, probably gone because he's now going to be a third-line sniper. And I just don't think he's going to be able to score the goals we need him to score in that position. If we had him in the top 6, maybe. But I think we cash out on Wahlstrom. We go with Weissblatt. This is going to be weird. William Dufour, probably on the 4th line. Unless we can get Polt Colson, but then again, Polt Colson's also a lefty. So yeah, we'll send down Polt Colson. Left wing side. This is weird. Gensel. Turcotte. Olesen. And Robbie Järventie. We still need a 4th line center. Which for the moment we could just say is going to be this dude, even though we're definitely going to send him down. This is looking like a very interesting team. All right. So we know that Wahlstrom has to go. Colson is going to go. Michael Meeses Jr. And we need a fourth line center to play with Yarventi and Dufour. We'll go best lines. We're actually going to go over to player search. I want to see if I can find this fourth line center of my dreams. Let's see. Player role, fourth line forward, player type. I mean, technically it can be a grinder or a two-way. Handedness doesn't matter. I need your first rating. I hate that it brings you back to the fucking top. I need a face-off rating of like an 85. I need someone that can win draws. And I need somebody that can play some physical hockey that can also skate. Does that player exist? Not quite. All right, we will slightly lower those parameters. 3.5 and face-offs down to 82. Does that player exist? Okay. So Theodor Splugers, Colton Sissons, David Kampf, or Casey Cizikas. Most of which are on one-year deals. So Teddy is the one with the best trade value of the bunch here. Technically a depth forward. Listed as a two-way. Sissons is the grinder of the bunch. David Kampf is a two-way. Casey Cizikas is a two-way. What do we like the most here? Cizikas at 35, I'm going to rule out because he could get worse. So it's either Bluger, Sissons, or Kampf. I'm worried that Teddy might become a third liner because of that higher overall, and he's a depth forward. So we're down to Colton Sissons or David Kampf. Sissons brings a bit more physicality, but not a ton. Kampf brings a bit better defense and is a better skater. Let's see if we can get David Kampf away from the Toronto Maple Leafs. And that'll be a deal for Wahlstrom and Colson. And it looks like they're going to be okay with this, which is nice. Honestly, just because, again, I have to sign a cap whale, I might as well retain... I don't think I'm allowed to retain salary on both of them, right? Yeah. We'll retain on Wahlstrom, though, just because I can. Well, I guess Paul Colson would make more sense. He's making a little bit more money. It's not even going to matter. What am I doing? Why am I bothering? Oh, those other two trades have just broken my brain. All right, this is our chance to get some draft picks back for this year. Let's just safety net this bad boy. If we take out the 4th, what if we take out the 5th? We take out the 6th. Okay, David Kampf and a 3rd round pick for Wahlstrom and pulled Colson. So we can send down old Zether. And that will allow us to get a look at what this team is going to be for this year. Obviously, I still have to do all the preseason goals and shit. We'll worry about that soon. Gensel and Caufield being on this team is pretty nuts. Gensel, Ratu, Caufield, Turcotte, Pinto, Evangelista, Olesen, Old Strong Jizz, and Weissblatt, Yarventi, Kampf, Dufour. Is not bad. It's not bad. I have some player type concerns, but I'm hoping that Gensel and Caufield can tear shit up together. Defensively, Haig, Drysdale, Sandine, Harris, Osborne, McCarthy. Drysdale, by the way, developed in reverse. He's already a phenomenal skater, too, so that's tremendous. And then in goal, for the moment, Blomqvist and Vanacek. That works. And in AHL, we still need to bring in a depth goalie, but it'll be Korhinen and Kazayev. Kazayev, whatever it might be. Defensively, I mean, honestly, we're looking pretty good in that regard. Zaitsev is a scratch. Gill is a scratch. Solnishkin's a scratch. He's a medium 6. We do want to get Zaitsev in over McIsaac. I'm not too worried about the chemistry because we'll just sort that out later. And actually, there's no injuries. So the medium fours should be on the highest pairs. There is an argument to take out Thompson. I mean, he's 24 at this point. I don't think he's going to be anything special for us. Slonishkin was a medium 6th. McIsaac, medium 6. Aitchison's already in the lineup. What was Gill? Medium 6. Maybe we'll just leave Thompson then and keep him on a higher pairing. So the defense looks to be in pretty good shape. We'll worry about chemistry in a minute. For the forwards, this is up. Man, Spence is already here. God damn. Pekka Rinen's a medium 9. Poirier is a medium 9. Dude, it takes out John Mustard by default. That's insane. Let's take a look at sorting by potential and overall here, because we are going to want Colonel Mustard in this lineup. Very much so. Spence, we still have at a high 6, which is tremendous. Kieskinen's also a medium 9. Chauvule, also a medium 9, so he'll be just ahead of Kieskinen. I wish this menu was slightly faster. Gleb is a high 9, so he stays above everybody but those top 2. Zimmer's a medium 9. We'll drop him below Teddy Stiga. Zether, also a medium 9. He goes just behind Zimmer. And I believe Kevin He was also still a medium 9. He is, but he is the best of the bunch. So if we go off of potential, Connor Levis is the first one on the chopping block here. Pekka Rinен, 20 years old, 69. Poirier, not much better. And left wing side. So he's going to be the one that goes out for Colonel Mustard. This AHL team should be outstanding. Absolutely outstanding. So let's take a look. Best face-offs. That is actually perfect. Third line. Swap these guys around there. I mean, technically, we might be able to get better chemistry by playing people within their proper position. I guess we'll see once the coach switches. Left wing, left wing, left wing on the third line. So we're not going to have a great face-off taker on that second line, I should say. But the players are looking good. All right, face-offs are going to be our big weakness this year in the top 6. But what a top 6, especially in terms of potential. I think in general, both teams are looking pretty damn good. Our power plays Ratu, Gensel, Caufield, Drysdale, Pinto. It's not bad. And then Turcotte, Evangelista, Oliston, Sandine, and McCarthy. Might switch it up a little bit, but I'm pretty excited for this team.